Hey nobodies, it is I, King Nobody once again, and this is going to be a story time video. So, I mentioned in a previous video that I went to one of the legal brothels in Nevada in an attempt to get rid of my virginity, and it was a massive fail. So, I'm going to tell you that story right now. So anyway, this was years ago. I honestly can't remember how many years ago it was, but I was a little bit younger, and I was going through a lot of stress and a lot of like anxiety issues and whatnot. So I started speaking to my counselor, my like work counselor, just to ask about dealing with stress and whatnot. And somehow we wound up talking about me still being a virgin. I'm not really sure how we wound up on that topic, but we wound up on that topic and we talked quite a bit about it. And my counselor just randomly suggested that I pay to lose the V card. And I was like, you do realize that's illegal in 49 states, right? And she goes, not one. And I was like, so are you really suggesting that I go to Nevada and pay to get rid of it? And she more or less went, yeah. And I started like, I was completely taken aback. I was like trying to like rationalize it and whatnot. And she was like, oh, Dave, just get over it. It's only sex. It's not a big deal. You need to just do it. And I was just completely weirded out by that advice, and I went at home and just thought about it, and I'm like, I'm getting a little bit too old to still be carrying this V card around. I might as well just lose it in like a creative way, I guess. So I'm like, all right, I booked a trip to Vegas. I took a couple of friends with me. We had this good trip to Vegas. We saw David Copperfield. We went to a Cirque du Soleil show. We had a good time. We stayed on Fremont Street at the Four Queens, which is an excellent hotel, by the way. Great price, great hotel. Had a nice time. But on the second to last day was the day that I was going to go to the brothel and do it. So I was fine leading up to that day, but once that day hit, I was like super nervous. Like I started freaking out. But I didn't want to wuss out because, I brought all my friends there and everything and paid for all the hotels and whatnot just so I could get this done, and I wasn't going to wuss out. So what I did was I had a feeling I was going to get nervous. So I brought a jar full of this stuff with me. It's an anti-anxiety drug called Phenibut. It's a Russian anti-anxiety medication. Like, the astronauts during the Soviet Union space program, they took Phenibut to, relieve stress. And you can get it online. You don't need a prescription or anything. You can just get it online. At least I think you can. I don't think they've outlawed it or anything. But yeah, I took some Phenibut. You're only supposed to take like 1 or 2 grams of this stuff. I took 15 grams of Phenibut because I was so nervous, and you're only supposed to take like 1 or 2 grams. And that's not only that, but when we were driving to the brothel, I had already taken the Phenibut, but I was still kind of nervous. So I took 10 grams of Kratom. You're only supposed to take like a few grams of this stuff if you're like a novice beginner. I took 10. So I was on 15 grams of Phenibut, 10 grams of Kratom. So I was kind of a zombie. By the way, I have a little drawing of a chicken because that's the brothel that I went to in Nevada. I went to the Chicken Ranch Brothel. It's one of the more famous brothels in Nevada. So that's where we went. So it's about an hour's drive from Vegas. We'll go to the Board of Cringe here again. So see on the Board of Cringe, this is a very poor drawing of Nevada, along with a very poor drawing of the chicken. Vegas is right here, we'll just say, and I think the Chicken Ranch is like somewhere right here. So it's about an hour's drive. We run in the car. I get high on Kratom and Phenibut. So we arrive at the brothel, and I'm just like a zombie. It's kind of a good thing that I actually took that stuff because I probably would have been shitting myself by the time we got there. So we get to the brothel. There's this lady who like checks us in. She's like the headmistress or whatever. My friends go to like the bar area and they take me into like this like living room. This brothel, it's like a house. It's set up like a house or something. It's like they took a big house and just turned into a brothel. I don't know why I'm so surprised by that. I guess I should have expected. But they sit me in this living room and they bring like 5 girls out. And the two of the women who they brought out seriously looked like they were old enough to be my mom. Like, I don't want to insult anyone. They were lovely women. It's just, I would feel weird. I already felt weird enough, but I'd feel even weirder if it was someone who was old enough to be my mom. One of the girls just had this terrified look on her face, like she didn't want to be there. So I wasn't going to choose her. And then there's like 2 really cute girls that they brought out. So I chose one of them. And she brought me in the back into her room. And I was pretty nervous. But like I said, I was on so much Phenibut and Kratom, it wasn't that bad. But, well, you start off with the negotiations. You can negotiate how much you want to pay. And I won't say how much it costs or how much I pay because I don't want to get in trouble. But let's just say if you want to take a trip to one of these brothels, you're going to want to take a whole hell of a lot of these, like thousands of them. I'm not joking, thousands, plural, take thousands. Because for an hour, I'll just say it was thousands, and I didn't quite have thousands. So I could only afford about 20 minutes, I believe. So they make you go back, take a shower. And so I got a shower real quick. I got back out. And, the 20 minutes starts. And that thing, I was completely flaccid. That thing was not going up. All that Phenibut and Kratom I took, it was just, I think it might have actually gone inwards. I mean, that's how flaccid I was. And the girl who I chose, she tried, she gave it her all, but that thing just was not going up. And by the way, the TV was on. It was on MTV, some stupid reality show, which I know is about 99% of MTV's programming. Like, she wanted me to keep the TV on because she didn't want people in the next room to hear. Like, I didn't know that was, like, such an issue or whatever, but I had to listen to MTV, so that didn't help with my issue down there. And, like I said, we kept trying, but just nothing. Like, and then towards, like, the last 5 minutes, I very briefly fell asleep. I fell asleep for a few minutes, and then the girl woke me up and she was like, "Oh, you only have 2 minutes left." So I was like, well, I might as well just get dressed and leave because there ain't nothing gonna happen in the next 2 minutes. If it ain't happened by now, it ain't happening. So I put my clothes on and like I was like getting ready to leave, and like the whole time the girl was like, "Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Don't get mad at me." And I was like, "Well, why would I be mad?" And she goes, "Oh, because you didn't come." I was like, never in my life have I ever think I would be in a position where someone would ask me if I was mad that I didn't come. But I mean, she was just like, she felt really bad. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, don't be sorry. It was my fault. I mean, if I took all that stuff and it just ruined me, and if I didn't have taken that, I would have just wussed out. So yeah. I got out of the brothel. My friends were asking me, "How was it? How was it?" And I was like, "Nothing happened." And then I just like fell asleep in the car. And that I was like hungover for like the whole next day, because that's what that Phenibut will do. It'll make you hungover. But yeah, that's the story of how I wasted a whole bunch of money to not lose my virginity at the Chicken Ranch Brothel in Nevada, thanks to taking too much Phenibut and Kratom.